So the slides are visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So any doubts or queries from the last class? Anyone? Anyone with any doubts or query? Okay. So yesterday we have started about what? We have started about the antihypertensive agents, right? So I have just defined the condition of blood pressure when it is called the hypertension, right? So we have discussed about the various stages of the hypertension and what are the possible drugs, therapies to treat the same condition, right? So we have discussed this thing. So in the last class, what we have discussed about the angiotensin converting enzymes inhibitor, right? PRIL. They were having the suffix pril, captopril, enalapril, etc. Right? So what these were doing? These were inhibiting the ACE enzyme, right? So what the ACE was doing? ACE was actually converting the angiotensin 1 to the angiotensin 2, which is actually responsible for the vasoconstriction. Secondly, it was helping in the release of the aldosterone from the adrenal cortex. And the third thing, it was increasing the intensity of the thirst. And also it was releasing the hormone called the antidiuretic hormone, right? So we have discussed this thing. So now today what we are going to do, we are going to move to the adrenergic receptor antagonist. Sorry, adrenergic receptor modulators. I have not changed even in the slides, right? So they will be the modulators, right? Now, what the modulators will do, right? So we have to discuss this thing. In the last class, what we have discussed this thing, the basically the adrenergic receptors, right? So adrenergic receptors are of primarily two types, alpha and the beta, right? There are two types of alpha receptor, alpha 1 and the alpha 2. And I was telling you about the beta receptor, and there are actually now three types of beta receptor, beta 1, beta 2 and beta 3, right? Although we have not to concern with the beta 3, but importantly we have beta 1 and the beta 2. So basically what is binding in the adrenergic receptor, right? So that is the question, what is the natural ligand? So basically what we have the binding of catecholamines, right? Cathecol, I have discussed yesterday, that is a benzene ring with two OH at the adjacent positions, right? I'll be showing you the structures. Secondly, it have a amine, right? Cathecol amine, right? So what we have a cathecol group and we have a amine group, right? So depending upon the methylation status at the amine, right, we have two molecules, we have adrenaline and non-adrenaline. We also call them epinephrine and the norepinephrine, right? The nor hoga, nor. So I'll be telling you what this nor is all about, why we use this word nor in nomenclature, right? So basically now we were discussing this thing about the high selectivity of the epinephrine versus non-epinephrine is these receptor, right? So before going to that, I'll be just telling you about something important about this receptor, right? So it will be very easy to discuss about the drugs then, right? So basically, first thing, the alpha 1 receptor. So basically, alpha 1 receptor are the classic post-synaptic alpha receptor and are found in the vascular smooth muscle. So we do not need to do anything to them in the hypertension. The second receptors are the alpha 2 receptor. So basically the alpha 2 receptor are present in the brainstem and in the periphery, right? So basically they inhibit the sympathetic activity and thus lowers the blood pressure. So basically when the epinephrine is binding to the alpha 2 receptor, what it is doing in the heart, it is basically inhibiting the sympathetic activity and thus lowering the blood pressure. So this is the important point, right? The third one were the beta blockers, right? So sorry, beta receptors. So beta 1 receptor are found in three places. The important are the heart, the kidney and the fat cells. So we are primarily concerned with the heart, right? Because we are dealing with the hypertension. So these beta 1 receptor, what they are doing when beta 1 receptor are stimulated, right? They increases the heart rate and increase the heart strength of contraction or the contractility. So basically what they are doing, they are increasing the blood pressure directly because they are increasing the heartbeat and everything, right? Or even the contraction of the heart, right? Then the fourth receptor we have are the beta 2 receptor, right? So these are located in the bronchioles and they are basically related with the asthma, in the treatment of the asthma related with the bronchodilation, right? So now, according to you, which of these receptor can we use for the treatment of hypertension? Anyone? These are the four receptors. So now, according to you, which receptor can be used for the treatment of hypertension in these? Anyone?
Sir, alpha 2
Alpha 2, good, good. And
and beta 1.
beta 1, very good. So what type of drugs should we use in alpha 1? Agonist or the antagonist?
Agonist.
Agonist. Just read the line. Just read the line. Alpha 2 receptor in the brain stem and in the periphery. We are concerned with the periphery. Inhibit the sympathetic activity. What the alpha 2 receptor are doing when the epinephrine is binding, what it is doing? It is inhibiting the sympathetic activity and is lowering the blood pressure. If we will be using an antagonist, what will happen? The BP will rise. See, बेसिकली इसका कहने का मतलब ये है कि अल्फा 2 रिसेप्टर में तुम्हारे जो नॉन लाइगेंड्स होंगे कौन से होंगे? बेसिकली एपिनेफ्रीन एंड द नॉर एपिनेफ्रीन, ठीक है? That will be the thing, that will be the natural ligand. So it is saying when the natural ligand, that is it is epinephrine is binding, right? What it is doing, it is inhibiting the sympathetic activity by the negative feedback, right? So if it is inhibiting the sympathetic activity, what it is doing, it is lowering the blood pressure, right? So what we require here, we require the agonist which will be mimicking the natural substrate, right? So इस केस में हमारे पास agonist आएगा. Is that clear? क्या doubts
Yes,
हैं?
sir.
Okay. And so what about the beta 1 receptor? What we have to use here? Agonist or the antagonist?
Antagonist.
Good. So basically now we are dealing with the adrenergic receptor, right? So in one case we are using the activator or the agonist, and in the second case what we are using the antagonist. So that's why I am saying it a adrenergic receptor modulator, right? Modulator. We are using both the things. We somewhere, for example, in the alpha 2 receptor we are using the agonist, we are using the alpha 2 agonist, and in the beta we are using the beta 1 receptor blocker or the beta 1 blocker, right? So this is the thing, that's why we are calling them as the modulator, right? So this is the general thing, right? So now when I'll be using alpha 2 receptor agonist or the activator, what will happen? They will be mimicking the natural substrate epinephrine and it will be lowering the blood pressure, right? The second thing, catecholamine, sorry, both the things, the norepinephrine and the epinephrine will be there, right? Then what we have the beta 1 receptor, and when we are using the beta 1 receptor antagonist, right? So what they are doing in the heart, they will be reducing the heart rate and reducing the contraction, right? So what they will be doing, they will be again relieving in the hypertension, right? So this is the thing. So basically these two things will be used to treat the hypertension, right? So question can come from this section also in the GPAT, right? So ये पता होना चाहिए कहाँ पे हमें agonist use करना है, कहाँ पे हमें antagonist use करना है, right? So this is the thing. So I will be not be concerned with many of the things, but I'll be concerned with the norepinephrine, right? So basically this norepinephrine, what it is doing, it is causing the tachycardia, right? But what happens when we are using the blocker, sorry, when we are using the alpha 1 agonist? So what it is doing, it is allowing the binding of the epinephrine, not the norepinephrine, right? So that epinephrine will be causing some rest to the contracting heart, right? So basically it will be relieving the blood pressure or the hypertension. So basically I am concerned with this only, right? So this is the thing. Other thing you can just go through, right? So now we have two things now. One is the epinephrine. So both are the catecholamines. See this thing, this group, this benzene with the 2OH, this is the catechol group, right? And what we have this amine, right? NH, right? So now see in both the molecules the thing is same, only the difference is of this methyl group. So when this methyl group is removed in chemistry, in basically the IUPAC nomenclature, we say this is a demethylated product, or we say the word NOR. So basically both the molecules are same. If you look at the structure, right? Epinephrine also have the same structure. Non-epinephrine also have the same structure. The difference of this methyl group, right? The difference is of this methyl group, and here we have no methyl group. Instead of the methyl group, we have a hydrogen, right? So we are using the word norepinephrine, right? So basically many people of you might be knowing that the epinephrine is used as a transmitter, chemical messenger, but other than that, this is also used as a hormone and neurotransmitter for treat the allergic reactions, right? So this is the also used as a drug, epinephrine. There are the injections, it is given via the IV route, right, to restore the cardiac rhythm and to control the mucosal congestion, glaucoma, and the asthma. So many people of you knowing about the pharmacology of epinephrine, right? So now this thing, the norepinephrine is basically a naturally occurring chemical in the body that act as both a stress hormone and a neurotransmitter. So basically now when we are saying the alpha receptors, all right, when we are saying the alpha 2 receptor, so what we have the binding of both the things. It is selective for both the epinephrine or the norepinephrine. But what will happen when we are under stress? We normally say na, when we are under stress, our blood pressure normally rises. There is a condition of hypertension if we take some prolonged stress, another thing. So basically this is due to this thing, norepinephrine. So in that case, your epinephrine is not binding, but the norepinephrine is binding, and it is playing a vital role in doing what? In increasing the blood pressure. So this is the important thing, right? So now what the other thing the norepinephrine may do, right? Dilation, decrease the salivation, right? Opposite of the acetylcholine, basically it will do bronchodilation, right? Tachycardia, decrease digestion, decrease urination. So all these are the role of the norepinephrine, right? What happened to this now? ठीक है, नॉर वाला वर्ड क्लियर है? बेसिकली द डीमिथाइलेशन. सी बेसिकली दिस इज द थिंग. सो ये क्वेश्चंस कभी आ सकते हैं एग्जाम्स में. स्लाइड्स आर विजिबल?
यस सर.
ओके ओके. सो ये नॉर वर्ड क्लियर है, राइट? नॉर वर्ड क्लियर है. जस्ट द रिमूवल ऑफ द मिथाइल ग्रुप. सो कभी भी अगर कहीं नॉर वर्ड आएगा, कभी भी इन सम क्वेश्चन और सम एग्जाम दे आस्क यू कि व्हाट इज द नॉर, और इफ दे हैव रिटन सम मॉलिक्यूल एज अ nor steroid, nor anything, right? So nor means the removal of the methyl group, demethylation, right? Always remember this thing. So this thing we have discussed yesterday also. The primary mechanism of the alpha 2 agonist is the stimulation of the presynaptic alpha 2 receptor in the central nervous system, activating inhibitory neurons, which lead to the reduction in the sympathetic output via a negative feedback mechanism. So what this negative feedback mechanism is doing, it is decreasing the blood pressure. Basically it is having a negative effect, right? It is a negative feedback mechanism which is lowering the blood pressure. So in this case, what we will be requiring, we'll be requiring the agonist, right? That will be mimicking the epinephrine, and when they will be mimicking the epinephrine, they will not allow the norepinephrine to bind to the alpha 2 receptors, right? And when the norepinephrine will not bind to the this one alpha 2 receptor, what will happen? There will be the fall in the blood pressure, right? So you will be relieved from the condition of the hypertension. So this is a simple mechanism, right? So this I have already discussed. So alpha 2 receptor in the brainstem and the periphery inhibit the sympathetic activity. So what they are doing, they are blocking the norepinephrine release, or they are allowing the binding of epinephrine to the alpha 2 receptors, right? So it's the same thing. Right. So in your syllabus, what we have these 4 molecules, right? So we'll be discussing about methyl dopate, we will be discussing about the clonidine, and we will be discussing about the guanabens, right? So these are the three molecules which are used as alpha 2 adrenergic receptor agonist, right? This is important, agonist, right? So now this is the structure of methyl dopate hydrochloride. So see the structure, if you are remembering the, basically I think you have read about the adrenergic system medicinal chemistry in fourth semester, I guess, perhaps the fourth semester, right? So in the fourth, yeah, hello, yes,
Hello, excuse me, sir.
yes.
Sir, methyl dopate or methyl dopate both are different.
Methyl dopate and what?
Sir, methyl dopa.
That is levodopa, I guess. तुम levodopa की dopamine की बात कर रहे हो? That the levodopa is
Yes,
the
sir.
precursor and that it's a prodrug which converts into dopamine. उसकी बात कर रहे हो?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That is levodopa. That is a different drug. Dopamine is a
Okay.
different, again concerned with the CNS in the
Okay.
Alzheimer and or. Ha. That is different thing. That is different thing. So that is the levodopa. Levodopa actually gets converted to dopamine. So this is methyl dopate. O8. O8 means ester derivative. So here we have a carboxylic acid, right? So this is the thing. So now if you look at the structure, if you have learned in the fourth semester also, so basically all the molecules which are actually affecting the alpha receptor are similar to the catecholamines, right? So what they have a simple group, simple ring having the catechol. This is basically a catechol ring, right? Then what we have the simple NS2, and additionally what we have a carboxylic acid, simple molecule again, right? So it is called the methyl dopate. Methyl dopate, what we have different here, we have a methyl group, methyl dopate, and O8 means this one, ester derivative, carboxylic acid, right? So it's a simple molecule, right? So what it is doing, it is basically a centrally acting alpha 2 adrenergic agonist, right? Used to manage the hypertension alone, or what we can do, we can combine it with the diuretics, thiazide diuretics, right? To treat the hypertensive crisis, basically to treat the hypertension, right? So now if you look at the chemical category of this drug, it is called the derivative of phenyl propanoic acid. Now can anybody tell how this propanoic acid is coming into the picture? Why I am saying it's a phenyl propanoic acid? Phenyl तो चलो ठीक है ये था, propanoic acid क्या है? Methane, ethane, and the propane. It is benzoic acid. It's an acid, right? So it's a basically acid. So propane oic acid, right? So name कभी भी nomenclature में confusion हो, if someone asks you about the chemical category, just look at the chemical structure twice, right? So if you'll be looking at the chemical structure, you can easily identify the name, right? So this is the important thing, and this will come by the practice. When you will be practicing a lot of organic chemistry, you will be easily guessing the name of the compound, right? So can now anybody tell what these two bonds are doing here? Why this bond is different and this bond is different? Anyone? थोड़ा सा अगर stereochemistry में जाएं, is this molecule a chiral one or not? Can I say this molecule is chiral? चलो इसको एक बार देखना. I'll be putting it into the Moodle, then you can just look at this and tell me whether this molecule is chiral or not, right? Chirality के लिए क्या conditions होती हैं, you all know, right? So एक बार just check करना. This is up to you, right? So now we have the second molecule, right? The second molecule is the clonidine, right? So again, this clonidine is the imidazole derivative, right? Which acts as an agonist of the alpha 2 receptor or the adrenoreceptors, right? So what it will be doing, it will be allowing the binding of the epinephrine to the alpha 2 receptors, and it will be doing what? It will disallowing the binding of the norepinephrine. Hence, it will be lowering the blood pressure, right? So this is the second drug. And we have the third drug, which is the guanabens, right? So guanabens इन ड्रग्स में हुआ क्या है, बेसिकली दे हैव रिप्लेस द कैथिकोल मोइटी विद द डाइक्लोरो मॉलिक्यूल्स इन बोथ द थिंग्स, राइट. So this is again a guanabens and it's again a alpha 2 adrenergic agonist, right? So again used for the treatment of the hypertension, right? So both these category of molecules belong to the chemical category of dichlorobenzene, because what we have common, we have the dichlorobenzene group in both these molecules, right? So but this molecule can also be derived with the heterocycle, because the heterocycle is present, so we are giving the priority, right? So this will be said to be having a imidazole derivative. It is said to be imidazole derivative. Now, can anybody tell what is this guana? Why we are using the word guana? Anyone? Based upon your organic chemistry. इस ग्रुप को कुछ कहते हैं, ये वाले ग्रुप जो है. Any idea about this? Anyone? Any idea? कुछ कहते हैं इस ग्रुप को, ये वाले को? This is called the guanidine. This group is called the guanidine, right? And from this guanidine, what we have got word guana, and this is the benzene ring, right? So name is guanabenz, right? कभी कभी जो नेम याद करने के तरीके होते हैं वो ऐसे भी होते हैं, right? Where you have to remember about the structure. So if you remember about the word guanabin, suppose if I ask you to write a short note on alpha 2 adrenergic receptor agonist as an antihypertensive agent, right? So you will be writing about these things. So if you remember the name, if I ask you to give example, so if you remember just the name, you can easily draw the structure, right? That's why you should know what is the meaning of the name, right? So this is the thing. इस नेम का भी तुम क्लोनिडीन को भी तुम रिड्यूस कर सकते हो. इफ यू रिमेंबर द हैंड्स नॉमेनक्लेचर, दिस इज डाइन, निडीन, व्हाट वी यूज फॉर द निडीन. कभी देखना हैंड्स नॉमेनक्लेचर के क्लासिफिकेशन में हमने क्या किया था लास्ट टाइम, राइट? सो यू कैन इजीली डिड्यूस दियर नॉमेनक्लेचर ऑल्सो. दिस इज द थिंग, राइट? नाउ द सेकेंड थिंग व्हाट वी हैव बीटा एड्रेनर्जिक ब्लॉकर, राइट? सो बीटा एड्रेनर्जिक ब्लॉकर विल डू व्हाट? Beta adrenergic blocker will block the influence of catecholamines at the beta receptors, right? Simple thing. So beta blocker work by blocking the effect of the hormone epinephrine, also known as adrenaline, right? So beta blocker cause the heart to beat more slowly and with less force, which lower the blood pressure, right? So basically what the adrenaline is doing in the heart, beta blockers are basically the beta receptor are present in the heart, right? So we have discussed that thing. So now basically the role of adrenaline in the heart is to increase the heartbeat. You might be knowing about the fight, flight and fright, triple F mechanism, right? In the heart basically of the adrenaline, right? When we are frightened, हम जब डरे हुए होते हैं, when we are fighting or something, doing some exercises or what like that thing. So what happens, this adrenaline is released in the heart, and what the adrenaline do? Adrenaline actually increases our heartbeat, right? So if the heartbeat is increased, what will happen? The blood pressure will normally increase, and if this condition persists for many time, what will happen? We'll be influencing the cases of hypertension, right? So this is the thing. So what the beta blocker will do? Beta blocker will cause the heart to beat more slowly and with less force, which lower the blood pressure, right? So in your syllabus, there is only a single drug, timolol, right? So this is the structure of timolol, right? So again, it's a heterocycle, right? But we have the 2 nitrogen and 1 sulfur. So इसकी chemical category तुम guess कर सकते हो easily, right? So basically, this compound belong to the dialkyl arylamines, or you can say it's a derivative of what? It's a derivative of what? क्या होगा? Diaza and then what? Anyone? तुम लोग एक काम करो, जो हैंड्स वेल्डमैन नॉमेनक्लेचर के लास्ट टाइम के नोट्स है ना, या लास्ट टाइम के स्लाइड्स हैं, जस्ट एक बार उनको जस्ट रिपीट करो, राइट? सो इफ यू विल बी लर्निंग अबाउट द स्ट्रक्चर्स एंड अदर थिंग, यू विल बी इजीली गेटिंग द नेम्स, राइट? ये चीज करो, एक बार ये प्रैक्टिस करो, देन यू कैन इजीली गेट द नेम, राइट? अगर फिर भी नेम समझ में नहीं आएंगे, देन यू कैन आस्क मी कि व्हाट इज दिस हेटेरोसाइकिल बिलोंग टू, व्हाई दिस नेम इज द thiazole, why the name is pyrazole, why it is a diazothiophene type of molecule, right? You can say like that then, agar nahi aaya to, right? So basically this will be a beta adrenergic blocker, right? So it will be blocking the effect of adrenaline on the heart, right? The mechanism is very simple. So basically the mechanism, if you want to know, the timolol competes with the adrenergic neurotransmitters. What are the adrenergic neurotransmitters? They are basically the catecholamines, and in the catecholamines, when I speak, it is basically the epinephrine or the adrenaline. So what it is doing, it is binding with the beta 1 adrenergic receptor in the heart, right? So this drug will do what? This drug will inhibit the binding of the epinephrine or the adrenaline to the beta 1 receptor, and when the adrenaline will not bind to the beta 1 receptor, what will happen? Basically your heartbeat will be get slow, right? You will be relieved from the high blood pressure, right? So this is the common thing. So this lead to the diminished action of catecholamines, which normally bind to the adrenergic receptor and exert the sympathetic effect, leading to what? Leading to an increase in blood pressure and the heart rate, right? So it will be inhibiting these effects, so your blood pressure will be lowered and your heart rate will also be get lowered, right? So this is the thing. Right now, the third thing is the drug acting at the neuromuscular junction. So what is the neuromuscular junction? Right. So basically what we have a sympathetic vesicle which stores the neurotransmitter, right? So basically when there is a stimulus in the body, these neurotransmitter get released and they bind to the receptor. So what these drugs are doing, these drugs are actually inhibiting the release of the drug from the synaptic vesicle, right? These are the synaptic vesicle, these balls like structure. So basically when there is a signal, when there is a stimulus, so basically the calcium high voltage gated cancer do what? They actually burst these vesicles and they allow the release of the catecholamines, right? So once the catecholamines are released, they will bind to the receptor and they may cause the effect in the heart, right? Basically the increase in heartbeat or increase in blood pressure, like that thing. So what these molecules are doing, they are actually acting at the neuromuscular junction, nerves and muscle junction. So basically what they will be doing, they will be relieving the condition of hypertension. So basically you have two molecule, actually I have added one molecule again, right? So I'll be omitting this thing. So we have a guanethidine monosulfate and the reserpine, right? Again we have a guanethidine type of molecule, right? So we will be expecting the 3NS type of system, right? And the second one is the reserpine. So you might have heard about this name in the pharmacognosy, right? It's an alkaloid, right? So what these are doing, an anti-hypertensive agent that act by inhibiting selectively transmission in the post-ganglionic adrenergic nerve, right? So basically they are doing what? They are blocking this release of neurotransmitter at the neuromuscular junction, this small gap. It is called the synapse or the neuromuscular junction. When it is interacting, when there is a nerve to nerve interaction, the small gap between the nerve and nerve is called the synapse. And when there is a nerve and the muscle, it is called the neuromuscular junction, right? Otherwise it's called the synaptic junction. याद रखना, nerves and nerves के जो बीच का gap होता है, that is called the synapse, right? And when we are talking about the muscles and they're interacting with the nerve ending, it is called neuromuscular junction, right? Where the nerves end and meet with the muscle or any receptor. It is called the neuromuscular junction, right? So basically it is believed to act mainly by preventing the release of the norepinephrine at the nerve ending and cause the depletion of norepinephrine in the peripheral synaptic nerve terminal as well as tissue. So what these drugs will be doing, these will be blocking the effect of these neurotransmitter from binding to this receptor. They will not be allowing the release of the neurotransmitter from this synaptic vesicles. And when this will not happen, so what will happen? These receptor will not get sensitized by the neurotransmitters, right? And they will not function, right? So simple mechanism is there. So this is the structure of your guanine, right? So basically it's a guanine type of molecule. See, we have a guanidine group, right? So this is important. This is important, right? So this is the molecule structure and it is used as an NMJ inhibitor, right? So this is the first molecule and the second molecule. So this molecule is important and you may get a question in the GPAT also from this. So basically reserpine is not a synthetic molecule. First thing, it is a natural derived phytochemical, right? So basically it's an alkaloid. If you look at the chemical nature, it's an alkaloid which is derived from the roots of Rauwolfia serpentina and the Rauwolfia vomitoria, right? So these are the two plant species from where the reserpine is derived, right? So basically the roots of these two plants, right? So what the reserpine do? Reserpine inhibits the uptake of norepinephrine into the storage cycle, resulting in the depletion of the catecholamines and serotonin. Although we do not want the serotonin, but the reserpine is also used to treat some of the CNS disorders, right? So thereby that's why the serotonin, it also compete with the serotonin. So it act at two neuromuscular junction. One which releases the serotonin and the second which releases the catecholamines. So when we are dealing with the hypertension, we have to deal with this catecholamines, and when we'll be discussing about the CNS disorder, we'll be discussing about the serotonin, right? So this is the thing. So now it has a very big structure, right? So alkaloidal structure. So क्या है ये? It is basically a steroid type of molecule, and this steroid is called the yohimbine, right? Always remember, you can get a question in the GPAT, right? Ki basically discuss the class of the reserpine alkaloid. So basically chemical class basically. So this is basically an steroidal molecule and this steroidal molecule is called the yohimbine, right? No one will be asking you about the structure, right? To draw the structure, no one will ask because this is a very big structure of the natural product, right? But you have to remember the chemical category in this case, right? And two pharmacological activities of the reserpine. One, it is used for the relief in the hypertension, and secondly, it is also used for the treatment of CNS disorder by inhibiting the serotonin release, right? So these are the two important things of the reserpine, right? Now, the last thing we have the vasodilator, right? So in the last class, when we were discussing about the vasodilator, we were discussing about the vasodilator. What the vasodilator do? They have the tendency to release the nitric oxide into the blood, right? And nitric oxide do what? Nitric oxide has the which ability? It has the vasodilatory effect. It actually have the vasodilatory effect. And what the vasodilatory effect will do? Vasodilatory effect will do the relaxation of the arteries, right? When we were discussing about the previous vasodilator. But these type of vasodilator are actually acting on the veins. Although they are non-selective, but they are more selective for the veins rather than the arteries. So basically we have two drugs in your syllabus, so nitroprusside and the minoxidil. Although these drugs are not used now for the same intended person, intended use, right? So basically now minoxidil is being used in some oils for the hair growth and other thing, right? So you might be knowing that thing. That is a repurposed use of this minoxidil, right? So now the first drug is nitroprusside, right? Simply look at the structure. It has what? It has the NO. So what it will do? It will get metabolized. So all the vasodilators are actually the prodrugs, right? So what they will do? They will go inside the body and they will get metabolized in the blood to release this nitric oxide, right? And what this nitric oxide will do? It will do a vasodilatory effect, right? Okay, the slides are visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. So basically it will be releasing what? It will be releasing the nitric oxide and they will be affecting the veins more in comparison to the arteries. So basically what it will have a vasodilator effect or the vasodilating effect, right? So this is the mechanism. Sodium nitroperoxide is further broken down into the circulation to release the nitric oxide, right? So every vasodilator will do the same thing. It will release the nitric oxide. So basically this nitric oxide is acting as a vasodilator, right? And why we cannot give directly the vasodilator? Can anybody tell that? Anybody can comment on that? See, although the nitric oxide is synthesized in the body also from the amino acid arginine, right? But we cannot give the gas because it is very what? Why we cannot purge the gas inside the body? सोचना इस बारे में. Why cannot we cannot purge the gas? हम ऑक्सीजन तो देते हैं. Why cannot we purge these gases like the nitric oxide, hydrogen sulfide or the carbon monoxide in the body? कभी सोचना, right? So we'll be discussing this sometime in the offline class, right? So which activates what? Which activates the guanylate cyclase in the vascular smooth muscle, and this guanylate cyclase will do what? It will be converting the ADP and the और क्या था? GMP. It will be converting the ATP and the GTP to the AMP and the GMP. Adenosine monophosphate, and the second thing, the GMP to the cyclic one, cyclic GMP, and the cyclic what we call that thing, cyclic AMP, right? So it will be doing that thing, and that will be doing what? Which stimulate the calcium ion movement from the cytoplasm to the endoplasmic reticulum. And what it will do? It will reduce the level of the calcium ions, right, that are going to bind to the L type of calcium channel. So when this will happen, what will happen? Your vasodilation will prevail, right? This mechanism we have already discussed in the previous vasodilators in the first unit 2 part A, right? So this is the simple thing. So the ultimate result is the vascular smooth muscle relaxation and the vessel dilation, right? So this is the thing. The second drug is the minoxidil. Although both these drugs are not now used for the treatment of the hypertension, right? So minoxidil is now used for the hair replacement or in the hair treatment, right? So it's the most potent directly acting peripheral vasodilator, right? Basically a vasodilating agent that reduces the peripheral resistance and produces the fall in the blood pressure, right? So it belongs to the chemical category again of the dialkyl aryl amines, right? Okay. So this is the thing. This is a very simple unit part C, right? So this is all. This is all from the unit 2. And now what we are left with, we are actually left with the synthetic one, synthetic molecules, right? So we'll be discussing about the synthesis of the drugs that are star marked in your syllabus soon, right? So now if anyone have any queries, doubt or anything they may ask, anyone. Anyone with any doubts, queries or something. So what I'll do, I'll just summarize what we have done, right? So basically in the unit 2, the total unit 2, what we were doing, we were trying to find the solution. What are the solution to relieve the hypertension, right? So when we were trying to find what are the available solution for treating the hypertension, what we have different categories of drug, right? So basically सबसे पहले हमारे पास important क्या है कि how that hypertension is actually occurring in the body, right? So we have discussed what we have discussed. It can be occur by the blocking of the vasodilation. Basically if the vasodilation is not happening, basically there will be a contraction and the blood pressure will rise. The second thing, when there is a high influx of calcium ions, right, binding to the camiodylium channel, right, then also there will be chances of muscle contraction and leading to the what? Leading to basically the high blood pressure and the hypertension. The third thing was the deposition of water and the electrolytes in the body, right? So that was the third thing. The fourth thing was increase in the level of the ACE angiotensin converting enzyme, renin, expression of 81 and 82 receptor, that are the angiotensin 1 and the angiotensin 2 receptor, increase in the aldosterone level, the release of the antidiuretic hormones. So these are all the reasons that actually contribute to the hypertension, right? So what we have done, we have discussed some categories of the drugs, right? So what we have discussed about the vasodilators, right? So vasodilator were doing what? Vasodilator were doing the vasodilation, right? So vasodilation means the release of the nitric oxide, and by the when it is releasing the nitric oxide, it is converting what? It is converting the AMP and GMP to the cyclic form. For example, the CAMP and the CGMP. And what they were doing, they were inhibiting the calcium channel. The second thing that we discussed were the blocking the calcium channels, right? So we have discussed that basically there are the calcium channel, L-type calcium channel, and when we block them, we actually overcome with the contraction, right? So basically there is an increase of vasodilation. The third thing we have discussed about the diuretics, right? So in the diuretics, basically what we have discussed, diuretics were basically what? Diuretic were the water pills, right? They were used to expel the water out from the body, right? So what was happening when we were taking the diuretics? So diuretics was actually inhibiting the release of what? It was inhibiting the reabsorption of water and two important electrolytes, that is the sodium and the chloride, right, from the body. But there were some side effects of the diuretics also, which were actually throwing out the two other things, the potassium, and along with the potassium, they were also allowing the loss of calcium and the magnesium, right? So now what we have then to prevent that thing, we have some potassium sparing diuretics, right? Where we have discussed two things. Where we have discussed about the aldosterone receptor antagonist, right? Basically the spironolactone. And we have also discussed with the ENaC inhibitors, endothelial sodium pumps inhibitor, right? So that was the thing we have discussed. And in the final stage, what we discussed about the osmotic diuretics, right? Then in the third part, we have discussed what? We have discussed about the directly acting antihypertensive agents, right? So in your category, in your syllabus, basically, we have discussed three things. We have discussed about the ACE inhibitors, right? How they are used in the relieving of the hypertension. The second thing we have discussed about the adrenergic receptor modulators. So we have talked about the alpha 2 receptor agonist and the beta 1 blockers, right? Which are basically acting on the heart and they were raising the blood pressure, right? And the third thing we have discussed about the vasodilator that acts on the vein, right? And when they are acting on the vein, they are expanding them or relaxing them, right? So that our blood pressure get reduced, right? The pressure basically get reduced, right? So this was the thing. So any question, doubts, कहीं पे कुछ समझ में नहीं आया तो you can speak up, right? So what I can do, I can take some revision classes. Anyone with the doubts or something? If there is no doubt, so I'll be just closing this class, right, guys? So thank you for joining. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.